Hey, good day YouTube. This is Moomin Radi, host of Third Eye Philosophy, and today what I'm going to do is this going to be a reaction to Joe Rogan's response to the Alex Jones ban. I'm just trying to do something a little differently. You know, everybody else comes out, and I agree with a lot of conservatives that came out with a video. You know, I agree with it, you know. So I don't want to sit here and just regurgitate what everybody else said. I mean, we all know what's up, you know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a reaction to Joe Rogan's reaction towards the Alex Jones ban and give my perspective on top of that. So let's start.
Alex Jones and got rid of him, but they offered him a safety net in the form of the app that he has on their app store. They're still, so they're trying to take that down too, like take down the app.
His show became instantly way more popular.
Oh, I'm sure.
So again, the Unintended Consequences, I try to tell people that, you know, I'm not defending Alex Jones, I'm defending, you know, the principle of freedom of speech. You know, people who are convicted of killers and who are on death row, they still get their freedom of speech. You're allowed to print articles, and they're allowed to have, you know what I mean? They're still allowed to.
Well, he's allowed to still. I mean, he hasn't been silenced. He has his website. But he can put his show out on his website. He can host it from his website, and it could all be fine. But these major media companies, now, they just decided, we've had enough. We don't want this on. And here's the thing, like, I don't know what he said that there was a straw that broke the camel's back. It seemed like it's not a recent statement that he said.
Well, let's just go to the court transcripts and we'll figure out, oh, there wasn't. There wasn't a court. Oh, there was no hearing or nothing? There wasn't a judicial hearing? There was no... Come on. They just what? They let some jag-off billionaire in the middle of the night on a whim fucking do this? Is that what happened? Yes.
Do you think that's what it is? That was some billionaire? Or do you think it's the middle managers and the executives at all these...
I want to respond to that. Of course they know who. Of course they know who. You know, they know about the secret societies. They know about the globalists. They know about these people. In my opinion, I don't think Joe Rogan is this naive, you know, but I do think he plays both parts and trying to please both crowds. He got like a mixed crowd of people that, you know, that are kind of liberalish and then kind of independent, and then he got those conservatives that's kind of in the middle, you know. And I think it's a good thing because he do kind of lead them in the right direction by asking questions and keep everything in suspense, you know. But I'm gonna let this keep going.
Giant tech companies have just decided.
I don't know. It's definitely. The government tells Facebook what to do a lot of times, right? And so they bow to the government all the time because they don't want to be regulated.
I believe that's a part of it too.
That's why they just started having hearings with that's why they had those hearings. Should we regulate Facebook?
But it's a bad way of expressing things. Like hate speech it's not a good descriptive. Because
I agree.
When you stop, what does it entail? Like, you know, I had a conversation with a woman at YouTube about Sam Harris and Douglas Murray in a podcast where they had a conversation and someone put it on their YouTube channel in their playlist. Just put it in their playlist, and they got a community guidelines strike.
Oh my God!
I asked why, and the woman said very cleanly it was hate speech. And I said, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Did you listen to it? Is it two intellectuals? There's two public intellectuals discussing immigration and some of the problems that Europe is having right now, and you decided that that's hate speech, and you don't even know what they said. But the fact that she so confidently described it in that way sort of it sort of embodies what this problem is that they have these blanket terms they're able to throw on problems, and there's a million other fires to put out, so there's no more need to put any more consideration into this. This guy's a problem, this is problematic, this is hate speech, shut it down.
And I agree with him. I definitely agree with him. They've used pretty much hate speech. I mean, anybody can hate something, you know, and a lot of people's feelings can get hurt over simple stuff. That don't mean we make laws for it, you know, because that would definitely screw this country up. You know, trying to make laws over hate speech or laws over people's feelings more so than logic. You know, so I definitely agree with Joe Rogan here. See, this is why I like Joe Rogan, because he do put out a good point of view, you know. But I think he put out enough information to, you know, make you think that, you know, if you know what's going on, you know, then you're gonna know he know more than what he's saying. He's just trying to appeal to his audience, you know.
If people don't realize how bad it is, Joe, you do, because you know this story.
Yeah.
But people go, "Oh, good for Alex Jones. He shouldn't be able to do that stuff. What he's doing." I'm like, do you not understand that this is the shot across the bow? That if they can do this to Alex Jones, that they're coming. I've already been trashed by the establishment media, by the Washington Post, by CNN. I've already been equated to pedophiles and those kind of things, and conspiracy theorists. And I've been in articles with Alex Jones. They've done it to me.
Demonetized my
because I
video.
tell the truth about the war.
They demonetized
and
it. They
so,
demonetized it.
the antidote to bad speech, if you really hate what Alex Jones is doing, the antidote to bad speech is not censorship. The antidote to bad speech is more
civil
speech.
Conversation.
So, if you become president, will a woman make the same as a man?
You're going to make the same if you do as
they
good
got
a
these little
job.
breaks in here, but that's fine. You know. But that's why I like Joe Rogan, because he kind of stay on the same, on the right topic, but he you know, he ain't really progressing.
If you think what Alex Jones is doing needs to be debunked, create a Facebook page called Debunking Alex Jones and debunk him.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, Kyle Kalinske does that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
People do that stuff all the time.
Exactly. If you have a problem with somebody's speech, you don't try to just shut them up because you think they're crazy or loon, insane, or whatever the case may be. Or even if you think they're not smart, you don't just tell them shut up. You just don't have them silenced. You know, just create a platform to where you can just debunk what they're saying. You know, and once you prove them wrong, just demand an apology. You know, a nice, open, public apology for being wrong. You know, but they don't seem to do that. They just try to silence everybody, conservatives. So I agree with this guy right here.
That's how you convert. If you're afraid of an idea, you don't shut down the idea. You expose the idea and you debunk it.
But if you have a private platform and you own this, and you start a business, and your business is putting up YouTube videos, and you decide that someone is putting up something that's hurtful and damaging and racist, and it could be used to attack large groups of people, and then you see like all the craziness that's been connected to the alt-right movement, and you associate that with this individual, do you have to keep that on your platform? I mean, there's no regulation right now. It's not like public utilities or...
It should be, though. That's my point. My point is that 70% of the people get their news from Google and Facebook, and they're a monopoly, right? So they have monopolistic powers.
70%?
Yeah, that was a stat I read today. So you can't... it's like, well...
I don't know if I believe it.
Hey, they took... Yeah, they took...
Why do you think it's a stretch?
It's a lot of... If it says 45% of the people get it straight from Facebook, that means 150 million people are on Facebook every single day.
A lot of people get their information from Facebook. All of my videos, most of my views come from people sharing it on Facebook and views coming from Facebook.
But I get my news from Google. I have that Google app on my phone.
It's huge when it comes to us
every day I go to it in the morning when I'm taking a shit. And I go over like, what's crazy today? What's happening? Oh, new Porsche coming out.
Put it in one sentence.
What did Sacha Baron Cohen do?
One sentence.
Well, let's see what they said.
I just looked at it. So it said 45% get it from...
But my whole thing is, you know, Alex Jones have a huge platform. He have a huge platform, ladies and gentlemen, and not just on YouTube, but on Twitter, and you know, on his Spotify and his iTunes stuff. You know, is millions altogether. You know, so silencing and banning Alex Jones is a huge deal, because now at this moment he is a public figure. He's a public figure, and he have millions of people following what he's saying and doing. You know, so it's very important not to ban him because of the fact that you have millions of people that follow him, and then you have to explain to them why you're banning this man. Now, if they ban me today, all you guys will forget about me tomorrow. You know, so and it's not really a big deal, because I'm not huge. Millions of people don't know me. You know, so it's kind of a difference. I'm not saying it's okay to ban me. It's not okay to ban me, but somebody like Alex Jones, who have all of these people supporting him, following him, and bringing traffic to their platforms, you know, they have to have a very strong argument to ban him. You know, is a huge deal to ban somebody with a following like that, because now you're exciting his supporters. You know, it's like they don't really care about how we feel. They just do what they want to do and silence us, and they just act like it's okay. But overall, it's not. And you can't just treat Alex Jones like, you know, even though it's your platform, you own YouTube, you know, you can't just ban Alex Jones, you know, because of the fact that he have millions of followers. The man is famous. He have a huge platform, and the things he say resonates. So you can't just ban him. You just have to debunk him. Just debunk him. That's how we are doing it. We are debunking them. You know. So this is just kind of let you know what side that the establishment is really on, and Facebook is really on, and YouTube, and etc., Twitter, etc.
From Facebook.
But according to, is it a Gallup poll?
It was according to their stats, and I went back to read another Rolling Stone article to find out where
And
they
Rolling
got that
Stone,
from.
right? Yeah.
And it's a bunch of like Facebook article selling advertisements. Trying to find the data.
So even if you quibble with those, we can't deny. Like Alex Jones cannot now go, well, just go to the other YouTube. There isn't another YouTube. Hey, just go to the other Facebook. There is another. So we have to recognize that the way we are organized as a society, that the town square is now owned by corporations that need to be regulated, right? Like like before, you know, when AT&T was the phone carrier for everybody, they couldn't go, I'm not going to give Alex Jones a phone service because I don't like the shit he's saying.
Right.
You can't, so, you know, you can't deny services, somebody, all that stuff.
But
So
that's not really a valid comparison, because the phone service wasn't distributing information to people.
Right.
Like the phone service is just a method of communication. It was just a utility. What he's been able to do through InfoWars is, if you've got him on your platform, he's going to say some things, and he's going to use your platform to say some things that, you know, might not be true and might be crazy. So you got to decide, like, when does it become a problem? And I think where they drew the line was Sandy Hook.
So here's what I say, Joe.
Now, this is my point about saying offensive things. If you say something and it offends somebody, okay, you can't make laws according to how somebody feel. I mean, even if you're wrong, if you're wrong, you know, and you say something about somebody, people still don't have the rights to silence you. You still have your freedom of speech. Only thing you have to do is just debunk them from being wrong. If Alex Jones said bad things about those kids in Sandy Hook, you know what I'm saying, which is, I don't think he did. You know, I watched pretty much for the years. I don't think I missed an episode. And what I do remember him saying is that it's suspicious and that it can be a false flag. I do remember him saying that, but he didn't say it was a false flag. You know, and he just said it's fishy in his opinion because of how it was set up and what happened. You know, but I never heard him say that kids was not killed or anything like that. He did not say that. You know, from me watching pretty much all of the broadcasts that he been doing. You know, but let me get back to this.
We need to treat these as public utilities because they are, right? Facebook, there is no alternative. There is no alternative to YouTube. We need to regulate them. Well, it's long overdue, by the way. And they are monopolies. It's obvious to everyone that they're monopolies. But, you know, when you invent something called WhatsApp and then Facebook buys it for $20 billion, there's a monopoly. There's no way to compete with these people. So these are monopolies. They need to be regulated, and people need to be protected. And that's where we need to go, because right now we're leaving it up to the whims of a billion. Like you say, hey, if Alex Jones really did some shit that was wrong and he should be taken off, or his free speech should be abridged for it, do it. Let's see it go to a
I agree. It should. These corporations should be regulated. You know, I believe that we should get some type of internet bill of rights going on. You know, I think it's a petition out there. You know, hopefully I'm gonna try to find it. You know, so I can sign it. You know, they have to be regulated, because these people with all this money is like, they just try to do whatever they want, and they try to violate our human rights, and for that reason they have to be tamed to some degree, because they're using their businesses and corporations as a tool to silence, you know, as a tool to violate our rights, you know, and then we can't blame them. You know, we can't blame them because they're using their business, and they say, "Oh, but this is our private business." But it's not a private business if it's a public forum. Like if it's a public platform where people can get on and utilize our freedoms of speech. You know, it's no longer public, because now you're interacting with other people. You know, so now you got to let the people be the people. You know, I don't believe they should just ban somebody because somebody got offended online. Oh, it's bullying. All thing they got to do is turn off the computer, or block that person that's offending you. Block his page. Let us handle our own affairs when it comes to dealing with each other. Stop trying to regulate and be the coach for only a certain side, because a lot of things that Alex Jones may have said that's offensive, you know, to some people, CNN did the same thing. Now, what about our feelings? You know what I'm saying? MSNBC did the same thing. What about our feelings? You know, they don't regulate them. You don't see them banning CNN. You don't see them trying to ban Don Lemon. You know, so when do we recognize and realize that it is a biased move? These guys are completely politically biased, and they have their own agenda, and that's something that should be looked into. But we're gonna keep going.
Or go to a thing, or people go, well, he doxes people, and if doxing's illegal, he should be prosecuted. If that's what happened, but you shouldn't take away.
Did he dox people?
That's what they're saying. They're saying he doxed people from Newtown or whatever, from the school shooting. So that's what they're saying.
Talked about the individuals
that he gave their addresses and their names. That's what they're saying, that he doxed.
Okay, but let's find out if he actually did that, because that sounds crazy.
I don't know if he did,
but they're not saying what he actually did. This is what's crazy. I keep hearing that he promoted the idea that Sandy Hook was
false.
It was false, and that it was a false flag, and that these were all actors.
Right.
I don't know if he actually said that. I think what he actually said was, I don't know if that happened. I think that's what he actually said. And people are saying, well, that's promoting the idea that it was a hoax.
So what?
But I want to know if that's what he really said. See, I don't know if that's even the case, because I've heard it written that he promoted the idea that Sandy Hook was a conspiracy, but they're not quoting. When they say that, there's no quotes. There's no Sandy Hook was a hoax. Those kids were actors. Those kids are not dead. I don't see that anywhere.
Right.
But they keep attributing that to him without quotations.
But again, if there was some kind of due process, we could go back and look at the transcript and we would know this.
Not only that, if during this whole time where he's being tried, he was still able to be on YouTube and have his videos, he could show in his videos that he didn't say that. He could show what he actually said and tell you what he actually said and show clips. He can't do that anymore. So now the narrative is completely in the hands of the mainstream media, 100%. So the Alex Jones narrative is being taken 100% out of his hands. And now it's in the mainstream media, and now they're Sandy Hook denier, conspiracy theorist, right-wing lunatic, all these different things, which some of it.
They have like a database. Alex Jones have a database where he have pretty much all his videos. You know, he have his website, and then on top of that, I'm sure they got a storage where they keep all of the information just in case a situation like this comes up. You know, which is I think I heard him say in the previous video that they kind of fell into his plan. You know, I was listening to Alex Jones for the past couple of days, and he was saying, you know, they fell into his hands because now it kind of forced them to. He kind of forced them to ban him. you know, because they was calling them and telling them to not mention certain things or say certain things, or they're gonna ban them, they're gonna ban them. And he was saying something like that on his radio show. So, you know, this is kind of according to the plan. And if you look now, you know, his app is it went #1. You know, it got a lot more attention, a lot more downloads for all the people that do follow him but never downloaded his radio show and his app. You know, they downloaded it so they can continue to get more information from him. You know, so regardless how it goes, the globalists is not, it's still not going to be an easy fight for them. Because not only that, what I think we need to do is take the videos and stuff from his website and post it up on YouTube. You know, a lot of us can get strikes, but you know, guess what? We can make another. We can make another. You only gotta do is make another email address, and so, and start dropping his videos. Keep dropping it, and we keep doing that. We keep sharing content with each other. We will be able to keep passing out the message. You know, there's other platforms that we also could jump on, share information between each other. Like there's one called Halonis, you know, Gab.ai or IA. There's one of them. Is it Gab.ai? I believe that's what it is. That's where a lot of conservatives go, and they sharing content and information. You know, Twitter is still up, so you know his Twitter's still up, and Twitter's scared. They scared right now. They dropped billions. The stock market dropped billions of dollars, and then on top of that, that hearing just happened. You know, they losing money. You know, so they kind of scared to ban anybody right now. So that's a platform we could take advantage and boom 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 share, put out information. You know, but let me keep it rolling.
I mean, Alex, pretty fucking nuts.
My point is, we've had nuts people with. They still have that. When I was a kid, Joe, maybe you remember, Johnny Carson used to go ape shit about the National Enquirer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you remember that? And it was a big deal. He would
Yeah.
stop his show, and I'm putting my foot down about this.
Yeah.
They still have the National, and nobody said take it out of the supermarkets. Nobody was like, we got to ban that newspaper because we can't handle the ideas from this newspaper. They're still right there. You go to Ralph's, they're right there.
Yeah.
They're the last thing you see before they leave. They're right at the eye level for kids.
Yeah.
Nobody says take away the National Enquirer. I went to Facebook.
I like this guy. I don't know his name, but if you know his name, put it in the comment section. You know, 'cause I want to see more about him. I don't know him, but I like what he's saying. I like you know, I like what he's saying.
Facebook. They still have a Facebook page, that National Enquirer.
Do they?
Yes. So does the World News Daily. And you know what the first news story was that came up on the World News
babies.
Daily? Was a British man can only defecate through his mouth. That was the first story that came up. The first story. I didn't even have to look for it. British man defecates through his mouth. I'm like, dude, this is like South Park.
Right. Yeah. And it's not like you want them to be taken down as well.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is like World News Daily and Star Magazine, all those, they've sort of they're a joke. Like, you know it's not real. You know the Enquirer's not real. But we know that. But it's not, it's just
Somebody's
implied.
buying those. Somebody's buying those.
Right. But are they buying, are they kind of...
I mean, my whole point is, you know, Joe Rogan, he still is a good guy. You know, I think he tried to means well, but if you pay attention to, you know, overall, where his message leads, it leads to conservatism. You know, his tactics is kind of like, it keep people in suspense of what's really going on. And how he do that is by he's acting like he's like he don't get it, he don't understand. You know, when obviously we all know he's smart enough to know he's been in the industry for over 20 years. This guy been in a celebrity for a very long time. I'm sure he know how the game works. And so for him to just do what he's doing now lets me know that he wants to put things on the right path, but he's trying to slowly condition the people into thinking about certain things. And that's why I like him, because he's kind of using the third eye, you know. But what I don't like is, you know, we running out of time, and we gotta move. Like, the elections is coming up, and we need people to be like switched over. But I do understand that it need to be a slow transaction, you know, and slow transition and to getting people to think differently, you know. So I mean, I did say before that, you know, I'm about to stop listening to Joe Rogan and stuff like that, but you know, he always come through sometimes and say certain things that, you know, make me want to stick around. You know, the guy is really smart at what he do. You know, I'm not gonna ban him. You know, but it's very weird that this guy, you know, don't want to call George Soros a Nazi collaborator. Now, is George Soros a Nazi now? I don't think so, but he's a Nazi collaborator. I mean, the man is a Jew, you know, but he was a Nazi collaborator, and that's enough for me. You know, so he may be right in that aspect, far as saying that he's not a Nazi, but he is a Nazi collaborator, and that's just as bad. So I'm gonna end that off with this video. You can like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you put out some more Alex Jones, some of his content. If you could get a hold of his newest videos, post it up. I urge that. I think that we should do that, you know, and try to get the stuff out there. You know, I see some people already doing that. They're on YouTube posting up Alex Jones videos, his newest videos. You know, there was some random pages of, you know, I don't even know what the page, I don't know what the channel was, but there was some people posting up his videos when he came out to address his ban. You know, and I went to share it, but Facebook suspended my account because I said the Turks is a bunch of dirtbags. You know, for picking on a 16-year-old kid that got the soda tossed in his face by a 30-year-old grown man, which is despicable, disgraceful. You know, so that's going to be the end of my video. This is Moomin Rod D, and stay tuned for some more content.